awakening. I had envisioned it, intentionally called it in, created the right environment, mind, body, soul. And yet when I actually had my daughter and I was at home, I just remember the overwhelm of just like, oh my gosh, like this life, this responsibility, and how am I gonna navigate this? And I remember feeling like it really needed the support of others. I really wanted to be held and nurtured and nourished and guided through that, and at that time I didn't really have access to that. So I remember feeling quite lonely in those first few weeks and months. One of the most challenging moments that I remember was probably about 6 weeks in with my first, and I was still struggling to establish a kind of comfortable breastfeeding latch. And I had asked everybody, and so the house visitor had come round, the midwife had come round, I'd spoken to my mum and friends, and everyone was saying to me, you're doing it right, but I was still in so much pain. And I remember just feeling like I can't sustain this. Like, if it's this painful every time I'm gonna feed my child, like how am I gonna cope? And I was in tears, and I was just like, I really need some help to allow me to move through this in a way that's going to be beneficial. And so if I was speaking to myself back then, I would have really said, listen, Nehanda, you are enough, you're trying your best, like don't judge yourself so harshly. Just because you're struggling doesn't mean that you're failing, and don't feel afraid to ask for help. You know, reach out. It doesn't mean that you're a bad mum. It doesn't mean that you're like incompetent. Like, it just means that there's something that you need some support in. And I'm really grateful that I listened to that part of myself, and I did reach out. And this lactation consultant, I never forget, because that day made such a landmark in my experience of motherhood up to that point. And she came and she showed me how to latch my daughter on without any pain. And just that first feed of like, there is no pain, and this child is being fed, and you know, we're going to be okay. Like, it meant so much to me. I remember just the overwhelm of emotion of just being like, yes, things are going to get better, things are going to look up. So yeah, that was one of those moments early on in motherhood. Is the naming ceremony that we had for my son. So about 10 days in, I had invited a African spiritual shamanic celebrant to come into our home and to hold space and to create a ritual that we co-created between me, my husband and her. And we had an opportunity to sit down and reflect on our vows. And because I already had a little bit of insight with my first, I think, again, the kind of overwhelm of responsibility of this role kind of just hit me. And I remember standing up in front of our mums and our friends and the people we'd chosen to be godparents for my son. And one person was playing the drums, and I was holding him in my arms in his little bespoke African suit. And I remember reading out these vows to him and in presence of my family, and I just broke down in tears. I was literally like probably hormonally everywhere, but I remember just feeling like, what a gift, what a blessing, what an honor this is to really guide someone through life. Oh gosh, it's gonna make me emotional just thinking about it, but yeah, that was one of my special moments.